Welcome back. Both chambers of Congress in session this week as the clock ticks down to the August recess. The House in its final legislative days before the month-long break with a long to-do list. The top priority for Republicans appears to be passing the framework for Reconciliation 3.0. The president urging unity in a post on Truth Social, writing this: I'm asking all House Republicans to vote yes this week on the budget resolution, which is an important first step toward getting a budget bill. House Republicans must unify and fight for the Save America Act, writes the president. Joining me now is Arizona Congressman David Schweikert. He is also the chairman of the Joint Economic Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. We know there's some prominent friction in the House Republican Congress over where to go this week. Do you think the party unites around this? What is the priority? A CR or a Reconciliation 3.0 or something else?
Well, you can do both, but let's do the reconciliation first. The frustration for many of us who are conservatives, particularly fiscal conservatives, is the way that reconciliation is being designed is another $95 billion of spending and borrowing with no attempt to actually offset some of that spending. Do you remember, Maria, you and I have done this a couple times over the last couple of months, and we were talking about waste and fraud. None of those waste and fraud mitigation are actually now being put forward in this legislation.
Right, and that's why we know that, recently the House Freedom Caucus wrote a letter to the Speaker urging that any Reconciliation 3.0 bill must include strict dollar-for-dollar and year-for-year spending cuts to restore fiscal sanity and control the deficit. And the fact that there are no offsets in Reconciliation 3.0 has people on Capitol Hill floating a potential fourth reconciliation bill, which is quite extraordinary. Many House and Senate Republicans were disappointed with the prior reconciliation package. What do you say about it?
They're absolutely correct. As of yesterday, if you take the last 12 months, we broke through. We're borrowing now $93,000 every second over the last 12 months. We're in real trouble. We're pushing up bond prices. Look at the 10-year yield right now. A lot of that, those pricing is because the United States government is on a borrowing binge. And how do we convince the bond markets that we're serious? Well, you're going to burn one of the, in many ways, last reconciliation budgets. We have to do parts of the SAVE Act. We absolutely need that. But we also need to convince the markets that we're actually going to start to at least make a small attempt to get our fiscal house in order.
Yeah, and did you say we're borrowing $93,000 every day?
Second.
Oh, my goodness. Every second. Kansas Senator Roger Marshall was with me on the program yesterday, and he was talking about Reconciliation 3.0, even though we did not get into the offsets. Here's what he said. Watch.
I think we have to pass it. Look, this is a small bite at the apple. This is basically the president's supplemental bill. Since the Democrats are not going to do anything to help Donald Trump, this is the only way we can get some aid to farmers, fund the military, and then take a small bite as far as the SAVE Act goes. We'll be funding any state that wants to do voter ID, that this will fund it. But I'm not satisfied, Maria. I think we need to go much, much further on this. I think we need to get Democrats on the record. Let's put a bill on the floor asking just for voter ID and see if we can get one Democrat, let alone 10, across the finish line. Americans, 80–90% of Americans want voter ID, but we'll pass this little bill in the Senate too, I think, with the 50 votes we need.
So Congressman, what then? What happens then? Do you go toward plans for Reconciliation 4.0 to get those fraud and abuse, or do you move toward the continuing resolution and pursue that?
You probably have to do both. A CR can stand on its own. The budget reconciliation is a path where you can go around the Senate filibuster. You run into some actually structural problems of trying to do a maturing, what's called a fourth reconciliation. You functionally have to do that in lame duck, and you actually don't have full authority. You can do some future spendings, future tax policy, but you're actually a little more limited. Look, the 1974 Budget Control Act was designed to reduce spending, to manage your budgets. Right. It was a way to get around the filibuster. And now we're doing it to basically get around the Democrats because of their functionally obfuscation just to do regular work.
Right.
It's intensely frustrating.
Right. I mean, you would think that putting money toward defense is part of the appropriations process and should not be part of a reconciliation package. I mean, the House is looking to pass that stopgap funding measure to extend government funding through early December because House Appropriations Committee ranking member Rosa DeLauro already said she opposes the current clean continuing resolution, and some Democrats are threatening a third government shutdown. So as soon as funding runs out, September 30th, are you expecting government shutdown?
If we don't do the CR, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, in many ways, I'm finding the Democrat Party have become almost nihilists. It's burn it down. It's a combination of hatred for conservatives, for President Trump, for so many things. And the ability, when you have just a couple vote margin, to make government work. And then for those of us who are very frustrated about our inability to deal with the waste, fraud, and let's be honest, many of our programs, the lobbyists, the lawyers, the others have found leakage in them.
Yeah.
And some of that leakage may be in the hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that are being defrauded from the American people.
Unbelievable. Liz Peek, jump in here.
So, Congressman, the reconciliation process in the Senate requires spending to be met with spending cuts, right? I mean, it has to be offset. So I don't even understand how this process is going forward.
In many ways, you're absolutely brilliant. And so we've played certain games in the past, and then you actually have to deal with the next level of reality. The Senate actually has a set of rules where their Senate parliamentarian can say, this doesn't really have a fiscal impact.
Right.
So when people think we're doing the SAVE Act, we're only able to do parts of it. And then we have to add, like we've discussed, $10 billion as a bribe for blue states to actually engage in adopting parts of it. So we have to deal with reality. Many of those states are just going to reject taking the money because of their politics.
Yeah.
So, Congressman, could I ask a follow-up question? Wouldn't it have been easier and simpler just to put a straight voter ID law bill on the floor, make the Democrats vote against it, which I think would be extremely unpopular, and at least then we would have had this vote that now is mucking up this reconciliation bill?
You're brilliant. You should actually be on our policy staff. Now, remember, the House has now voted and passed, 3-4 times?
Right.
Either the full SAVE Act or portions of it. So you actually have at least all the House members on record. The game in the Senate is they're basically blocking it from coming to, the next level of vote.
Unbelievable. This is just a head scratcher as far as why block that, especially since 80% of the country wants proof of citizenship and voter ID. But let me switch gears, Congressman, because voters in Arizona are headed to the polls today for their primary elections. You're running for governor. Tell us what your platform is, and should you win, what are the priorities for Arizona?
Well, look, Arizona's are with our Democrat governor, and we live on a razor's edge. Remember, Arizona, in many ways, is, if this election doesn't go well for electability, we have the chance of becoming a blue state, which would rip my heart out. Our U.S. senators are Democrats. Most of our Secretary of State, our Attorney General, our governor now are Democrats. We have to actually convince independents in Arizona, who are now the #1 registration, to come to the conservative side in this next election. And it turns out electability has become part of the battle cry in Arizona because we have so many issues, whether it be from water to the fiscal stability of our state government. But turns out you don't get to do any of those things if you're not able to get people elected.
Yeah, great point. Congressman, we'll be watching your work. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Congressman David Schweikert joining us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.